The Whispering Hollow. The Graywood Hollow had long been abandoned, tucked in the crook of a misty valley that swallowed sunlight even on the brightest days. Ivy-strangled buildings slouched against each other like drunkards in a silent toast to a forgotten past. Rumors said the place was cursed. Claire wasn't one to believe in curses. As a folklore researcher, she had spent the better part of a decade unraveling tales and giving them scientific explanations. That's what brought her back to the Hollow. After all, it had been her childhood home before tragedy forced her family to flee. She parked her rental car at the old iron gate, which had rusted shut with time. The path beyond was overgrown, but the outline of her old home was still visible, a once stately Victorian house now cloaked in decay. Claire tightened her scarf and began the walk up the crunching path. Inside the house, memories returned like ghosts. The musty air was thick with the scent of mildew and something else, something metallic. Her flashlight beam swept across the room, revealing dusty furniture, faded photographs, and the peculiar grandfather clock still ticking, despite no evident source of power. A cold shiver traveled her spine. Chapter 2. The Hollow's Echo. Night fell quickly in Graywood. The forest canopy choked the moonlight, and Claire lit several old oil lamps she'd found in the cellar. As she documented her surroundings, she noticed symbols etched into the floorboards, spirals, eyes, and claw-like shapes. She took photos, noting their resemblance to Appalachian protective sigils. Then came the whispers. Barely audible at first, like the rustling of leaves, they seemed to come from within the walls. She pressed her ear against the plaster. Nothing. But when she stepped away, a soft voice hissed, "She's returned." Claire jumped, heart pounding. "Hello?" Silence. Only the ticking of the clock. That night, she dreamed of the woods, of being pulled through brambles by unseen hands, of chanting in a language she didn't understand. Chapter 3. Old Friends, Older Secrets. The next day, Claire drove into the nearest town, Elmsbridge, to search for any locals who might remember her family. She found an old man at the diner who remembered her father. "He was a good man," the old-timer said, "but he went wrong, messing with the Hollow. There's things in there that don't stay buried." Claire cried, learning that her father had been obsessed with local legends, particularly one about the Whispering Hollow, a supposed doorway between worlds. "He said he could hear voices," the man added, "started digging in the basement, said he found a chamber. Then one day he was gone." Claire's blood turned to ice. Chapter 4. Beneath the House. She returned to the house and began tearing up the floorboards in the cellar. Beneath layers of earth and stone, she found a rusted trapdoor. It groaned as she pried it open, revealing a staircase chiseled into rock. The descent was slow. The walls were moist, covered in roots and more of the strange sigils. Deeper and deeper she went, the air growing colder. Finally, she reached a chamber. It was a perfect circle, the walls covered in carvings. In the center stood an altar, and on it a book bound in skin. As she approached, The whispers returned, louder now. Blood for passage. Claire reached out, her fingers trembling. The book pulsed beneath her touch. Visions erupted in her mind. Rituals, sacrifices, her father standing in this very spot, chanting with hollow eyes. Chapter 5. The Bargain. Back upstairs, the whispers did not cease. They begged, cajoled, threatened. Claire tried to leave, but the forest had changed. Paths twisted back on themselves. Her car refused to start. She was trapped. Night fell again. This time, the whispers formed words. You have her eyes. You have his blood. In the mirror, her reflection blurred. Eyes too dark, smile too wide. Desperate, Claire read from the book. At first, nothing. Then the air shimmered. A figure stepped from the shadows, a woman with bark for skin and eyes like hollow stars. You've opened the way, the creature said. Now the price must be paid. What price? Claire whispered. Your blood or another's. Chapter 6. The Hollow Hungers. Claire fled into the forest, the book clutched tight. She returned to town, begging anyone to help her destroy it, but no one remembered her. The town looked the same, but the people were different, off somehow. Eyes vacant, movement stiff. She realized then that she hadn't left the hollow. She was still in it, caught in its illusion. Back at the house, the whispers screamed. The hollow was awake. She returned to the chamber. The altar was slick with fresh blood, not hers. She never made a cut. Something had followed her. Something else had bled. Chapter 7. The Final Passage. Claire understood at last. The hollow didn't want her dead. It wanted her to stay, to be its voice. She could resist, or she could become what her father could not, its vessel, its keeper. The last entry in her journal was written in a jagged hand. I see through the eyes of the hollow now, and it sees through mine. If you hear the whispers, do not follow, do not answer, and for the love of all that is still pure, do not return. The house remains in Graywood Hollow, waiting. The whispers never stopped.